Let's talk about something we all value: information. In today's world, it's everything. But what happens when that knowledge, the key to the next big discovery, is locked behind a high-priced door? For scientists, students, and innovators, getting access can mean the difference between a breakthrough and, well, a dead end. Today, we're diving into a really bold plan that's trying to smash those locks for an entire nation.
It's a simple question, right? But it cuts straight to a massive problem. If you've ever tried to read a cutting-edge academic paper online, you've probably hit that wall. The one asking for 30, 40, maybe even $50 for just one article. Now imagine you're a researcher and you need to read hundreds of those. You can see how that cost just becomes impossible.
And this leads to a very real thing called information poverty. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's when a lack of access to information literally holds back progress. It means a brilliant researcher at a smaller university might not have the same shot as someone at a really wealthy one, not because of talent, but simply because of budget. So let's break down what this problem actually looked like on a national scale, because it wasn't just individuals hitting paywalls. The whole system was kind of a tangled mess.
So before this big change, every single university and research lab had to go out and negotiate their own deals for journal subscriptions. You had hundreds of different institutions all paying for the exact same things, which meant a huge amount of wasted money. Librarians were just bogged down in these endless, complicated negotiations. And for researchers, if your university's library didn't happen to subscribe to that one crucial journal, you were just out of luck.
So how do you fix a problem that's so scattered and so expensive? Well, India came up with a pretty radical solution. What if, instead of thousands of little keys, you could create one single master key that unlocks all the doors for everyone all at once?
And that master key is called One Nation, One Subscription, or ONOS for short. It's a government plan that completely flips the old way of doing things. Instead of thousands of separate deals, the government steps in and negotiates one giant deal for the entire country. And just like that, every government-backed academic and research institution gets access to this massive library of knowledge.
And the plan here is really built on three simple, powerful ideas. First, centralize all that buying power to negotiate with the biggest publishers. Second, by doing that, you immediately get rid of all that duplicated spending. And third, the most important goal of all, you empower every single researcher, no matter where they are, with the exact same level of access to information.
Now, it's a fantastic idea on paper, right? But the real question is, does it actually work in practice? The program kicked off in January 2025, and lucky for us, we now have the very first study that gives us a peek into its real-world impact. And this first-of-its-kind study comes from the Department of Library and Information Science at Kannur University in Kerala. They decided to be the first ones to really try and measure how researchers are using this powerful new tool. So here's a quick look at how they did it. They surveyed research scholars, and a couple of numbers jump out. 58 of the people who responded even knew about ONOS, and 49 of them actually had access and were using it. Now, it's super important to remember, this is a small sample size. We can't apply these findings to the whole country, but it's a crucial first look at what's happening on the ground.
So what did this first peek actually show us? Well, the results give us some really fascinating early clues about who is using ONOS, how often they're using it, and why.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at how often people are using it. Almost a third of the researchers surveyed are on ONOS multiple times a day. That's not just casual browsing, you know? That tells you it's quickly becoming a core part of their daily research routine. It's a huge sign that this thing is meeting a very real need.
The study also dug up a pretty surprising detail about who's using it. Female research scholars were not only more aware that ONOS existed, but they were also using it more often. The authors pointed this out because it actually goes against some older research, and it raises interesting questions about how equal access might be changing old habits.
And what are they all looking at? Well, the data shows a really clear preference for the big three publishers: Elsevier Science Direct, Taylor & Francis, and Springer Nature. These are basically the heavy hitters of academic publishing, covering everything from physics to philosophy. It really shows the huge range of research that ONOS is supporting.
But usage stats are one thing. The real question is, what's the actual, tangible impact on a researcher's work? How is this changing their day-to-day life?
And when you look at the data, the single biggest benefit is crystal clear. It all comes down to efficiency. Researchers said it made a dramatic difference in how easily and quickly they could get the information they needed.
The numbers really tell the story here. On a scale of 1 to 5, researchers rated the enhanced ease of access at a stunning 4.08. That's a huge score. It means the system is doing exactly what it promised, making access feel seamless.
And tied directly to that is time saved, which scored an almost identical 4.06 out of 5. And for a researcher, time is literally everything. Every hour they don't have to spend fighting a paywall is another hour they can spend on actual discovery. That's a game changer.
This quote from the study's findings really sums it all up. Before ONOS, if you needed an article your library didn't have, you had to file for an interlibrary loan. It was this slow, clunky process that could take days, sometimes even weeks. ONOS is essentially making that whole process obsolete for tons of resources.
So let's zoom out. We've seen the problem, the solution, and the very first results. What does this massive national experiment mean for the big picture?
Well, here are the key takeaways. First, ONOS is democratizing knowledge. It's leveling the playing field, giving every researcher the same set of tools. Second, it's a huge efficiency boost. Third, this early data proves the concept works. People are using it, and they value it. And finally, it's all about promoting real equity and breaking down the walls of information poverty.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really big thought. India's ONOS is basically a national buying club for knowledge. So if one huge country can pull this off, what's to stop groups of countries from doing the exact same thing? Could this be the blueprint for a future where science is more open, more collaborative, and more equitable for everyone, everywhere?